My name's Eli Delaney, and I have the honor of meeting some pretty cool people. These are the entrepreneurs, the artists, the creatives, the game changers that are making a positive impact in the people that they meet. And I'm a firm believer that the people that you meet can get you anywhere you want to go. And this show is my way of sharing them with you. It's my way of also helping you be cool people. The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. This is a quote by Marcus Aurelius. Now, if you're not familiar with it, this is something out of Meditations. Obviously, it's a pretty powerful quote. And the interesting thing for me is it's something that has shown up a lot in my world in these last probably 2 months. So I thought it was something that was worth sharing with you. As a matter of fact, that quote actually showed up in Facebook on a Facebook post that I saw this morning. And probably about 3 weeks ago in a podcast that I was listening to, Daily Stoic with Ryan Holiday, if you listen to that one. And it's really interesting because this is such a powerful, powerful message, and a lot of people don't understand it. We're talking about habitual thoughts. And you might want to write that term down because it's something that's much more important than people realize. Habitual thoughts are those thoughts that you think of over and over and over again. And a lot of times they become habit that you think them as opposed to actually being conscious of it, you know. And using the analogy in his quote, it's like fabric in a dye bath. You know, the longer you soak it, the deeper the color. Well, your thoughts do the same thing. This is, and to be perfectly honest, this is Stoic philosophy at its core. Control what you can control, which are your thoughts. You know, my favorite quote probably of all time is, "The problem is not the problem. The problem is your attitude about the problem." And that's a quote by Captain Jack Sparrow from Pirates of the Caribbean. That is so deeper than people think. It's so much the core of how we need to think about and be aware and intentional about the things that we say, especially about ourselves, about how we treat ourselves. You know, the thoughts that you say, whether they're to yourself or out loud or in front of other people, things like that, actually do affect how you think about yourself and how you perceive the world. And I talk a lot about how we miss opportunities that are right in front of us because we're not thinking about the right things. Well, this is another piece of that. The problem is that we're thinking about the wrong things, so we're attracting those wrong things. And think about this. Like, do you ever go through and just think about, oh, well, God, you know, I'm so far behind on this, or, you know, I must not be as smart as I think I am because I have so many other people that are so much more successful for us. You know, as entrepreneurs, this is critical. This is super, super important because what we do and who we hang out with really makes a difference on the success that we create, whatever success looks like for you, by the way. You know, you hear these phrases like, "I'm behind everybody else. The algorithm has changed again. Now I don't know what to do." You know, guess what? Social media's algorithm is going to change probably every other week. And we have to be on top of it, but we need to not let it get us down. That's the thing, is roll with the punches, okay? Things like, I should have started earlier. You know, I know entrepreneurs who they start later in life and are killing it. They're doing an amazing job. So what would make you any different? Yeah, it'd be great if you started earlier, but it didn't happen. Okay, move on, right? You know, you go through these kind of quotes, and if you're having these kind of thoughts, and you have to be conscious of them. If you're having these thoughts, like, what are the words that you're saying to yourself and in public? Are you discounting your credibility? Are you talking negatively about yourself? You know, another great one that came to me was Bruce Lee. And I think I've talked about this before. You know, he talks about be careful with your words, especially to yourself, because it's called spelling for a reason. Words have spells. Words have magic behind them. And so when we talk about this, it's like, what are you saying about yourself? And this is a confidence thing. And what are the people around you saying about you? And are you accepting of that? That's another big one too. You know, one of the things that I think is super important is surround yourself with other people that will lift you up, that will support you, that will give you positive and honorable feedback. And we're talking about like not being a jerk, but not letting you get away with stupid crap either. You know, it's like, how are we find those people that are there to lift you up and help you see just how brilliant you are? And you have to start believing it. You have to start saying it to yourself. Because when you don't, and you discount that stuff and you try to be humble, there's a point when humble is okay. I'm not disagreeing with it because I think there's a lot of people that could use a little bit of humility, but not at your own detriment. You know, for me, I always tell people that I have a very strong belief in the concept of being better than somebody else. And it's like, I'm better at the thing that I am doing. I am the freaking best at the stuff that I do. When it comes to email marketing, follow-up systems, that's my wheelhouse. I am awesome at it. When it comes to my ability to show compassion for other people and really sit down and let them help them hash through the things that are going on in their head, that is something I am really good at. And I'm proud of it, and I should be. You know, there's nothing wrong with pride as long as it doesn't go to your head. But does that make me a better person than somebody else? No. It makes me better at the thing, because there's no such thing as a better person. And these are the things that you have to be careful about, how you position what you say and what you're good at, and how you think of yourself. And a lot of times we live in this world of contradiction where publicly we're putting on this face, especially for social media nowadays, where we're putting on this face that everything in life is awesome and we look so cool and, you know, we are the best of the best and all these different things. And then behind the scenes, we're hiding under the covers. People are going to see through that. And you're never going to get long-term success if you can't embrace it. If you can't figure out, okay, here's the things that I screwed up. It happened, move on. You know, even in my own life, I've had a lot of ups and downs. I've made a lot of mistakes in my life. And the biggest thing that I focus on is, okay, I made a mistake. How do I solve the problem? I try not to wallow in it. There are times when I have. Absolutely. I'm human just like everybody else. But for me to turn around and say, well, everything is horrible and I am nothing is going to work. That's not going to work. I can never get myself out of it if that's all I thought about. So what did I do? And this is one of the things that I highly recommend for other people to do as well, is find yourself those people that are going to help uplift you, that are going to help you have those hard conversations and help you bring out of the muck, and objectively listen to them. Look at their advice. Look at the things that they say and see, is this helpful for me? Is this going to help take me to the next level? Because if you're sitting there, even if in public, you're talking about how amazing you are and the results you have, which you should be having those results. If you're having those results, then absolutely talk about them. But then behind the scenes, you're like, God, I'm such a failure. Don't do that. You know, I cringe even saying those words right now because I have said those words to myself, and it's not a good feeling. Even when I'm saying it now as a point of explaining this situation, I feel myself like cringe a bit when it happens. And that's not what you want. So think about the things that you're putting out there. Like, are you helping solve other people's problems? Focus on those. How did you do that? As an entrepreneur, if you're in business in any way, shape, or form, one of the best things that I always tell people to do is save your testimonials. When people say cool things about you, if they comment on a post, say you did something awesome, or they give you a review on LinkedIn or whatever, screenshot those, save those, all of that stuff, save it in a folder. If somebody says something on video, save that, save it all to the folder. From a marketing perspective, we use that to help market ourselves to show our credibility. But you're saving them for yourself as well, because when you have bad days, you're going to come back to those. And I want you to watch those things. You want to make sure that you're reminded of the brilliance you have, and think about those on a daily basis. One of the action steps that you should be doing on a regular basis at the end of every day, it's like, what did I do to make somebody else's life better? And it could be simple. It could be small. It could be just shooting somebody a nice message saying, hey, I want to just thank you for showing up for the event I had, or whatever. Just recently I had a friend of mine that was speaking at an event, and I went and showed up, and I even videotaped it for him. Can't guarantee how good the quality is, because I'm not a videographer, but I did that for him because I wanted to support him. I wanted to help him. And I know he appreciated it. That stood out for me. And you need more of those kind of things. So stop and think about yourself. Think about, and this is your action step for this. Catch those repeating thoughts, whether you say them out loud or not. They're worse if you say them out loud. But catch those repeating thoughts. Pay attention. Stop and think about it like a couple times a day. Just think about it. What are some of the things that have crossed my mind today? What are some of the thoughts? Is this a good thing? Is this something I should be saying, or is this something I shouldn't be saying? You can do this like in a minute. Okay. It doesn't take a lot of time. When something goes off base, something didn't work as planned, what's the thought that went through your head? Because you have to be careful about what those thoughts, I'll go use another example. Sometimes when things don't work out, the first thing we think of is, oh God, I'm so stupid. Well, you can't do that. Catch yourself doing that. Stop yourself, like immediately stop yourself and go, no, wait a minute. I made a mistake. I need to be more aware for next time. It's not because I'm stupid. It's because I made a mistake. Check yourself 2 or 3 times a day for the next week. Stop and think about, what was I thinking? What are some of the thoughts that I realized that popped through my head throughout the day today? And just write them down. See what's there. Once you've done that for a couple of days, start thinking about what we would like call creating a daily reset. You can do it in the morning, can do it at the end, doesn't matter. But review your thought patterns. Stop and pay attention to, okay, this is what I noted today. And ask yourself, what color am I dyeing my soul today? Are you choosing thoughts that are going to build you up? Or are those thoughts tearing you down? And when you have those thoughts, if you have a couple thoughts that are obviously repeating on a consistent basis, what should you say instead? Because the beauty of it is that you can change it. The thoughts are choices. So the first thing that you should be doing is thinking, okay, if this is the thought that keeps popping into my head, that's breaking me down, let's stop and take an objective look at this. What's the real thing? Is this something that I could work on getting better at? Chances are probably yes. Chances are it was just a mistake. Maybe you need to be more aware and spend more time stopping, breathing, thinking through things before taking action. Sometimes that's important. Sometimes the biggest mistakes we make are because of that. Are you hanging out with the right people? If you're not hanging out with the right people and you're around a lot of people that are very negative, whether it be self-talk or about other people, maybe it's a good idea to remove yourself from that situation, or at least partially spend more time with cool people. That's the biggest point of this, right? Because you can't control the actions. You can't control the things that happen around you, but you can control how you deal with them and what you think about them. And when you do this, today's focus is about yourself. But this is bigger than even that. Start thinking about how you view yourself in these situations, because that's the first step. Because when you start doing that and you start changing those thoughts, those ideas, and changing those habits from going to the negative to going to the positive, you will change. Your attitude will change. Your energy will change. People will notice it. People will start being attracted to it and want to know what's going on. They're going to want to hang out with you. They're going to want to do business with you because you seem so positive. And it all starts up here in your head. Because the thoughts that we come up with, those thoughts especially about ourselves, create what our day looks like. And if we feed it negative stuff, it's going to produce negative stuff. But we create those positive thoughts, those reassurances that we do know what we're doing. Maybe we made a mistake. Maybe you need to stop and pay more attention to the life around you. We all get sucked into that sometimes. Making an intention to actually do the things that will help solve that, to make sure that that negative thing doesn't happen again. Our actions make a difference. And that's what we're looking for. That's what you want to do. That's what's going to make a difference in your entire life, quite honestly. Because if you still have that negative trash going around in your head, it doesn't matter how good you look on the outside. People will see through it. People will notice it. And it won't last. And you will never get yourself out of it if you can't break the cycle. So just take one step at a time. You're not talking about everything. Don't try to do it all. Think about one thing, one habitual thought that is bringing you down, and focus on fixing that. Just that one thing. Once you got that down, move to the next one. Hopefully this is helpful. Get out there, have an awesome, awesome day. I'd love to hear your thoughts and ideas by this. And is this helpful? Please reach out to me. Let me know. I don't do these a whole lot, but when I do it because I know it's stuff that's going on in my own heart that I want to share. And I'm hoping that this becomes valuable for you. So I'd love to hear your thoughts and ideas. Get out there, have an awesome week. If there's anything I can do to help you out, reach out and let me know. Take care. And that wraps up another Meet Cool People show. Now, if you like what you heard, be sure to give us a like, subscribe, or review so I can help introduce these amazing cool people to even more amazing cool people. And just remember, meeting cool people is just the beginning. You need to have a system in place to follow up with the amazing people that you meet. This is exactly what we do for our clients. Now, if you'd like to see if my team and I can help you, go to convertmoreclientsnow.com and check out the case study video to see exactly how we're helping our clients turn casual connections into cash clients for life. Again, go to convertmoreclientsnow.com and see how we can work together to turn you into a follow-up rock star.